Part 1. Jupiter hangs in the darkness like a giant world built to remind humanity how small it truly is. From Earth, it appears as a bright wandering star drifting through the night sky, calm and beautiful from a safe distance. But the closer scientists study this massive planet, the more terrifying it becomes. Jupiter is not simply another destination waiting for astronauts to plant a flag. It is a brutal monster of storms, crushing pressure, deadly radiation, and unimaginable isolation. Even reaching it would push the human body beyond limits never tested before. A mission to Jupiter would not resemble the heroic space adventures shown in movies. It would become a slow battle against distance, fear, and the collapse of the human body itself. The journey alone would feel endless. Jupiter sits hundreds of millions of kilometers away from Earth, constantly shifting position as both planets move around the Sun. Depending on launch windows and spacecraft speed, astronauts could spend several years trapped inside a tiny vessel before even catching their first close view of the gas giant. Unlike missions to the Moon, there would be no quick rescue, no emergency return, and no backup waiting nearby. Once the spacecraft leaves Earth behind, the crew would be completely alone in deep space. At first, the silence of space might seem peaceful. The blackness outside the windows would appear almost beautiful. But over time, that beauty would slowly transform into psychological torture. Day after day, the crew would wake up inside the same narrow walls, hearing the same mechanical sounds, eating the same packaged food, and staring at the same endless darkness. Communication with Earth would become painfully delayed. Simple conversations with loved ones could take nearly an hour for messages to travel back and forth. In emergencies, help would be impossible. Every mistake could become fatal. While the mind struggles, the body would begin breaking apart in ways most people never imagine. Human beings evolved under Earth's gravity. The moment that force disappears, the body starts adapting to survival in the wrong way. The heart no longer needs to work as hard to push blood upward, so it gradually weakens and shrinks. Blood and fluids drift toward the head, creating pressure inside the skull that causes headaches, blurred vision, and constant discomfort. Astronauts aboard modern space stations already experience these problems after only months in orbit. A mission lasting years would magnify them dramatically. Muscles would waste away at an alarming speed. Without gravity constantly forcing the body to support its own weight, muscle tissue begins disappearing month after month. Legs that once carried astronauts effortlessly on Earth would become thin and weak. Even standing upright after the mission could feel impossible. Bones would suffer the same fate. Calcium drains away as the skeleton loses density, turning strong bones brittle and fragile. By the time astronauts reach Jupiter, their bodies might already resemble those of elderly patients suffering from severe osteoporosis. Yet even these terrifying effects are only the beginning. The deeper danger hides within space itself. Earth is protected by a magnetic field and thick atmosphere that shield humanity from cosmic radiation. Beyond that protection, space becomes flooded with high-energy particles capable of tearing through human cells. Radiation exposure during a Jupiter mission would accumulate for years. DNA would suffer constant damage. Cancer risks would skyrocket. Vision could permanently deteriorate. The immune system would weaken until the body struggled to repair itself. Then comes Jupiter's own radiation environment, which transforms danger into outright horror. Jupiter possesses the most powerful magnetic field in the entire solar system. This immense field traps charged particles and accelerates them into deadly radiation belts surrounding the planet. These invisible regions are so violent that even specially designed spacecraft suffer damage while operating nearby. For humans, exposure would be catastrophic. A crew entering these zones without extraordinary shielding could receive lethal radiation doses within hours. Imagine finally arriving near Jupiter after years of suffering only to discover the planet itself offers no safety whatsoever. Unlike Earth or Mars, Jupiter has no solid surface waiting below the clouds. From afar, its swirling atmosphere looks almost peaceful, painted with bands of orange, cream, and red. But beneath those clouds lies a nightmare. The atmosphere grows denser with depth until gases become crushing oceans of liquid hydrogen. Any spacecraft descending too far would eventually be crushed apart by pressure strong enough to destroy steel like paper. The atmosphere itself would also attack astronauts long before pressure became fatal.